This episode is sponsored in part by Catchpoint. Look, 80% of performance and availability issues don't occur within your application code in your data center itself. It occurs well outside those boundaries, so it's difficult to understand what's actually happening. What Catchpoint does is makes it easier for enterprises to detect, identify, and of course, validate how reachable their application is, and of course, how happy their users are. It helps you get visibility into reachability, availability, performance, reliability, and of course, absorbency, because we'll throw that one in too. And it's used by a bunch of interesting companies you may have heard of, like, Google, Verizon, Oracle, but don't hold that against them, and many more. To learn more, visit www.catchpoint.com and tell them Corey sent you. Wait for the wince.
Hello there. My name is Courtney Wilburn, and I'm filling in for Corey this week, who's away enjoying the company of his family's newest arrival. I'm an engineering manager at Elastic Cloud, where I do my best to enable engineers to build tools that help keep things running smoothly for our cloud developers and SREs. When I'm not annoying my wife and dog with the sound of my mechanical keyboards, I'm either doom scrolling on Twitter, listening to Prince, working on one of my many in-progress projects, or thinking about travel plans that I've had to cancel this year. And now, let's move on to what happened last week in AWS. Amazon Document DB with MongoDB compatibility adds support for increased change stream retention and ability to watch change stream events on a database or the entire cluster. Somehow, left out of this press release is that Document DB will spin straw into gold for the price of your firstborn child. If the NoSQL data you're migrating is less than 1 terabyte, use DynamoDB. Amazon Kindra adds a Confluence server connector. For the love. If you're using Confluence and haven't added a plugin to assist in searching it, please do that now. Also, this is the first time I have no objection to an AWS product name that still fails to make clear what it does exactly. Amazon SNS now supports selecting the origination number when sending SMS messages. This is huge. Now we'll know exactly what number we can put on our Do Not Disturb list. EC2 Image Builder now supports AMI distribution across AWS accounts. Where's this been all my life? As soon as I'm no longer on the ground building some janky tool that removes AMIs between accounts and regions, this thing comes along. Thanks a lot. Now use AWS Systems Manager to view vulnerability identifiers for missing patches on your Linux instances. Shout out to all my sysadmins out there. They've got the CVE IDs in Patch Manager now. The smaller the list of things you have to keep track of, the better. Transforming Eden Restaurant margaritas to successful delivery carry-out business using Amazon Connect. You guessed what attracted me to this post was the hope of seeing pictures of food. You're correct. What made me stay to read the entire thing was the story about small businesses leveraging cloud services to stay afloat that warmed my cold dead heart just a little bit. AWS Nitro Enclaves. Isolated EC2 environments to process confidential data. Don't get it twisted. I'm all about protection of sensitive information, but the name Enclave conjures up images of people who measure the height of their neighbors' fences or get into a lather about Halloween decorations. How the ZS COVID-19 intelligence engine helps pharma and med device manufacturers understand local healthcare needs and gaps at scale. Yes! Let's work together to beat this thing. Choosing between AWS Lambda data storage, options, and web apps, aka choosy cloud engineers, don't choose TIMP. Announcing the end of support for Python 3.4 and 3.5 in the AWS SDK for Python and AWS CLI version 1. Please don't tell me you're still using Python version less than 3.4 in production, anything really. If you tell me, give me a chance to plug my ears and hum for a moment. Using machine learning to understand a user community. Managing online communities is difficult and largely thankless. It's pretty cool to see that the folks are committed to making that a better experience for community managers and members alike, and with machine learning, no less. Dragon reanalysis of the 1,000 genomes dataset now available on the Registry of Open Data. I'm neither Oprah nor Julie Andrews, but one of my favorite things is when the benefits of using cloud computing to advance scientific discovery are this clear. Bringing real-time machine learning-powered insights to rugby using Amazon SageMaker. Finally! Some relatable content. I love rugby. Union, not league, just to be clear. almost as much as I love machine learning. I feel pandered to by this, and I'm kind of okay with that. Not sure how much more crossover content I can expect from AWS with regards to rugby in the future, but I'm crossing my fingers that it involves the New Zealand All Blacks.
This episode is sponsored in part by Chaos Search. Now their name isn't in all caps, so they're definitely worth talking to. What is Chaos Search? A scalable log analysis service that lets you add new workloads in minutes, not days or weeks. Click, boom, done. Chaos Search is for you if you're trying to get a handle on processing multiple terabytes or more of log and event data per day at a disruptive price. One more thing for those of you who've been down this path of disappointment before, Chaos Search is a fully managed solution that isn't playing marketing games when they say fully managed. The data lives within your S3 buckets, and that's really all you have to care about. No managing of servers, but also no data movement. Check them out at chaossearch.io and tell them Corey sent you. Watch for the wince when you say my name. That's chaossearch.io.
Zomato digitizes menus using Amazon Textract and Amazon SageMaker. Consider this a content warning. Do not read this machine learning case study while hungry. Even the name SageMaker has me wanting to make some butternut squash gnocchi with brown butter. Building a live streaming app for all-hands meetings and more on ScreenCloud with Amazon IVS. Imagine a future so bleak that one must get excited about innovative ways to deliver content for virtual company-wide meetings. In that same world, you're actually dreaming of the heady halcyon days when you were eating stale croissants, chasing your coffee with your fourth flavored sparkling water of the day, and meeting colleagues face-to-face for the first time. Oh, wait. Announcing the speakers at the AWS Imagine nonprofit online. I can't even be snarky about this one. Leaders of nonprofits talked about how they use the cloud to better assist the communities they serve. You love to see it. Arizona schools enable cloud-ready workforces of the future with plan to train and certify 5,000 by June 2022. Okay, so hear me out. I'm not intentionally looking for upbeat stories to highlight. They're finding me. I sincerely hope that the resources made available to these young people in Arizona are made just as available to people in the rest of the country very soon. Building business resiliency, upscaling, and ML in sports. What you missed last month on the AWS Public Sector blog. Before reading the ML in sports post in the AWS Public Sector blog, I had my fingers crossed that I had something to do with the Phillies or Sixers using machine learning to try to advance in the playoffs next season, but that's not the case. Now, access the Health and Human Services Cloud Pavilion, an online interactive learning environment. Yes, public health practitioners, share all the best practices, learn from each other. I'd love to be able to move freely about the world and visit loved ones before the rest of my hair turns gray. Escape from the maze by training a reinforcement learning model on AWS RoboMaker. If, like me, you were hoping that the maze being referred to were a reference to, the entirety of the year 2020, you will also be sorely disappointed. I will also accept Corn Maze escape algorithms. It was missing both, but pretty cool nonetheless. Testing map generation at scale with 3D worlds from AWS WorldForge. This highlights the super cool way that people have trained a robot vacuum algorithm to understand the boundaries of a home. No snark on this one, folks. I love a clean home, especially when there's less effort involved on my part. If we can incorporate the presence of a constantly moving vacuum-averse dogs into that map, that would be great. How to configure Duo multi-factor authentication with Amazon Cognito. Multi-factor, all the things. All of them. Please, people. Learn database basics in episode 3 of AWS Power Hour, Cloud Practitioner. I may be dating myself, but in my day, Power Hours had nothing to do with databases. Does this have anything to do with the consumption of adult beverages to music? Unclear. I refuse to look this up, even though I carry a small computer in my sweatpants every day. If you enjoyed this podcast, please leave a 5-star review over at lastweekinaws.com/review. And remember to wear a mask, wash your hands, and be safe out there.
This has been a Humble Pod production. stay humble.